Cousins, and all guaranteed money. And then they draft quarterback Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington? Cousins got, what, a 3-year deal? And they draft Penix? What?
I don't know what they're thinking, but what I can tell you is they have a meddlesome owner in Arthur Blank, who I guarantee you some of his fingerprints are somehow on this.
Maybe.
Scene. But Kirk Cousins, blindsided.
Yeah, Diana Rossini tweeted out last night that he's shocked by it, probably not happy about it. But the beauty of it is it works out for the Eagles because it continues the trend of offense being drafted. Think about it. We're now at pick 8 with Michael. There still has not been a defensive. The Bears go Odunze from Washington, the wide receiver. J.J. McCarthy goes to the Vikings at 10. The Vikings actually trade up to get McCarthy. Offensive lineman goes at 11. Quarterback goes at 12. Brock Bowers, tight end, goes at 13. Offensive tackle, 14. Your first defensive player doesn't come off the board until 15. And when that happens, I go, all right, the Eagles they might trade up because
I still thought they'd have to trade up.
Because I thought that was going to be the run on defensive players. And you did have 3 straight defensive players. So Latu goes to the Colts at 15. Defensive tackle Byron Murphy goes to 16 at Seattle. Now, that was the spot that a lot of people had the Eagles trading up to. But they draft defensive tackles. So you go, all right, that means cornerbacks are still available. Dallas Turner, who might be a stud, he goes 17 to the Vikings. Vikings have a decent first day. And then they go back to offense. Mims, the offensive tackle, goes to the Bengals, which is smart for Joe Burrow. It's a good pick for the Bengals, but that means there's still more defensive talent on the board. Jared Verse, I don't know if they go edge rusher in the first round. The Eagles, he goes at 19. That was the spot that you thought maybe they'd trade up to. And then it's offensive guard at 20. Chop Robinson, who none of us wanted, goes at 21. And the first cornerback off the board goes to the Eagles at 22.
I still can't believe it happened the way it did.
I can't believe it.
No, I really don't.
I can and I can't because you know that it's an offensive league, right?
But
for it to go 14 picks?
Well, here's the deal. If it's such an offensive league, which we all acknowledge that it is, then don't you want singular weapons that are so talented to potentially shut down?
You would think so.
Other people's thing. And I'm not saying Quinyon Mitchell is a guaranteed shutdown corner. I hate that term more than anything. But he is a supremely athletic, talented, fast playmaker, ball hawk. He's that kind of guy. And wouldn't you want that to shut down other teams?
I would think so.
Well,
I would.
Corner in the NFL right now.
Jalen Ramsey's still very good. It's just he hasn't been healthy.
Ramsey's great. Got to go to Denver.
You're talking through guys. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL?
Patrick Mahomes.
And that's why.
Yeah.
Because they're difference makers.
But are any of these guys Patrick Mahomes?
Well, people think they are, and that's why you saw, 6 guys go top 12?
And that's why I keep on asking the question, will it change one day? And it probably won't, but it's just amazing how these guys just keep getting drafted top 3.
Right.
And the only guy that people really feel confident in is Caleb Williams. And then there's people that like Jaden Daniels. But Drake May got drafted 3rd overall. And is Drake May a can't-miss talent?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And then the rest of the draft kind of plays out. Terrion Arnold, who was another corner that a lot of people had eyes on. Some say he might be the most pro-ready corner. He goes 2 picks after the Eagles take Mitchell to the Detroit Lions. And then Nate Wiggins, a guy that a lot of people had going to – remember, we did the mock drafts, 31 mock drafts that we went through the other day. 9 went with Nate Wiggins going to Philadelphia. The only thing that concerns me with Wiggins is that the Ravens drafted him.
Well, I'm sure Kyle Hamilton knows of him.
Right.
So I'm sure that didn't hurt either.
Probably not.
They have an off-season training spot where they do when they're back home that the two of them train at.
Okay.
So there may have been some familiarity there. And Chuck from the coaching staff is a legend and everything like that. So I think there was a connection.
That's just like it's when.
But they better put some weight on him.
When Pittsburgh drafts a linebacker, you know that guy's going to be good. When Baltimore drafts somebody in the secondary, you have a pretty good feeling that that guy's going to be good. But I'm thrilled with what happened last night. We would love to get your reactions, your celebration more so at 610-632-0975, either on the phone lines or the text line. Now, I know we have some text coming in. He's still Embiid. 8 of 10 from the field, 5 of 5 from 3. He scored 33 points in the second half, 12 of 13 from the line, 3 boards, 3 assists, a block, just an incredible performance. And, oh, by the way, he did that in just 19 minutes and 43 seconds. So he didn't play all 24 minutes in the second half, and he drops 33. What do we got in the text line, Connor?
All right, so we got no name on this one, but it says, last night was definitely a perfect night for Philly sports. Anybody who ever has called Joel soft is childish. He plays through everything. This guy's a warrior.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who calls him soft. Or I don't know why. No, I'm sorry. I don't know why people call him soft.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
I could see someone that would be able to make a case to say that at times he has displayed mental softness.
Yeah, maybe.
Not physical.
Not physical. I mean, that guy plays through everything. And you still see him trying to run down blocks from behind on guys with fast breaks that he's probably not going to catch even if he's fully healthy. He's still giving it his all.
No question.
And for him to have that second half, and it makes you also feel better about his health, even though he's still banged up. You know that he's banged up. But he's going up against two physical centers in Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, got them into foul trouble early because of his physical toughness, his ability to get to the basket. And it makes you feel good about the long run where you're going, wow, he looked really good. We had a caller on hold that dropped off, and I feel bad that we didn't get to him. He was asking the question, can Embiid keep this up with his health? I'm not expecting 50, but can he keep it up with his health? Look, we'll see. I think this is just a day-to-day thing. He's going to be questionable every single night. He's going to play every single night.
The Bell's palsy's not going to stop him at all.
Right.
That's just going to be a freaking annoyance. And it's another little annoying thing he's got to deal with, which sucks.
Right.
But the knee.
Yeah, we don't. But you know he's going to play through it, and he's going to give it his all, and I celebrate that. What else do we have on the text line, Connor?
Kyle from Quakertown checks in and says, Embiid showed everyone last night why he's the MVP when he's on the floor. No one can touch him. Hope and pray we get more. Will go down as one of the best to ever do it.
Yes, he will go down. It's just unfortunate that there's been so many other things surrounding him. We played the clip earlier about him just expressing the human side of things where he started to ask, why me? Like, why am I always the introvert? I mean, the Bell's palsy thing, it's not because he was.
It's just, right.
It's not because he did something dumb on the court.
It's a virus.
Right. It's just it's amazing. Like, it's always him. Remember how Nick Sirianni said it's always him about Derek Barnett?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he does stupid penalties.
And it was.
It's always him, but it's sad that it's always him because you know the supreme talent that he is, but he's playing through the pain. He's playing through the annoyance of the Bell's palsy virus, and he dropped 50 last night, and he's the biggest reason why you won that game. He's the biggest reason why you still have confidence in this team, not just in this series, but also moving forward. Let's go to the phones. Go to John in West Philly. John, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up, guys? Good morning, man.
How you doing, John?
Hey, I want to tell you something, man. I celebrate the win last night. They gutted it out, and they played so good last night. Embiid, phenomenal, right? But what I cannot celebrate is the egregious acts of season ticket holders to allow that many Knicks fans to be in the building.
I would agree with you. I thought it was ridiculous that there was so much cheering for the Knicks and in the lower level.
Yeah, lower level.
That's crazy.
They paid a lot of money for those tickets, man.
Yeah, but a trader sells them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those season ticket holders to sell out your team for a money grab is it's unbelievable. I'm so embarrassed this morning by that, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, to me, I don't understand that either. If you're
thanks for the call, John.
To me, season ticket holders who use it as an investment,
right?
When it becomes the biggest games of the year, to me, they are the scoundrels that live amongst us.
Yeah, and
they are the scoundrels that live right next door to you.
And that's I also wonder how many of them just looked at the series and saw down 2-0.
Well, that sucks because you know what? They'll be there on Sunday acting like they're, really into it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was a lot of Knicks fans. I actually heard Bob talk about the other day on the midday show saying, be ready to see a lot of Knicks fans. He spoke with somebody that knows about the ticket market.
Right.
And they saw the upswing in sales coming from the New York area.
You can look at the trends you can pull up the trends from ticket agents.
Yeah.
And the big ticket services and see like the Seat Geeks and everything and see where the activity is and where the prices are spiking.
Yep.
They're coming down.
And look, I'll say this, as much as we hate New York, they do travel well.
And I respect the hell out of it.
Because look,
we love taking over other people's
Exactly.
Now, they didn't take over.
No, they didn't, but they were loud, and like you said,
they were loud, and you heard
in the lower level. Let's go to VT Ron. Ronnie wants to talk about the draft. What's up, Ron?
My man, what's going on, Andrew?
It's just a beautiful
What's
day
going
today,
on,
Ronnie.
Ron?
Beautiful day.
What a beautiful day in Philly. It's a beautiful day in Myrtle Beach, too. Hey, listen, real quick. First of all, the pick on Mitchell, that's amazing that he fell down to us. And he's probably going to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive player picked in the draft. He's smooth. He's athletic. He's got good turns with the hips. I watched that kid play on TV, during the combines and everything. He was amazing. And what a great pick. And for him to fall to us, that's in the stars. What did the rest of the division do? What are the Giants thinking when Penix is still there and they take a receiver? Are you kidding me?
Unreal.
Who's going to throw the ball to him?
Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes.
Hey,
Danny Dimes, you going to bring the Italian kid back?
yeah, they're not.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
not. Hey, VT Ron, by the way, Johnny D's thanked me later for breakfast. Johnny D's, go put in your GPS right now. Johnny D's in Myrtle Beach, thank me later. Great breakfast.
Johnny D's. I've been there.
Oh, it's the best.
Ronnie lives down there. I'm sure he knows
Then
more
you
about
better
Johnny.
be there.
I'm sure he knows more about Johnny D's than Johnny K does.
Well, you better be there.
Yes.
Johnny D. That's for another day.
All right, buddy.
And then look at the Redskins. I like the quarterback, but he's a project.
Yeah, he's a project.
No,
And look, they're starting fresh. And thanks for the call, Ronnie. They're starting fresh.
I think saying he's a project is a little. He's better than
he's better than a project. And
he's
look,
better than a project.
That organization's starting ground floor.
And they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
They're willing
now,
to do
I
it.
will say, Tyler Guyton to the Cowboys kind of solidifies my thoughts that I wanted him.
And they're smart.
Yeah, he's a good offensive lineman, and when the Cowboys draft an offensive lineman, it's like the Ravens with secondary,
Yep.
Steelers with linebacker. When the Cowboys get a lineman in the first round, you know he's going to be pretty
Stephen
good.
Jones is a good general manager. He is
Stephen
a good
Jones is.
Yes, Stephen is.
Yeah,
not
Steven
Jerry.
is. All right, we continue the conversation, but you know what? Coming up next, enough of us talking about the draft. We have some incredible names. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Louis Riddick. Incredible people that cover college football, cover the draft. No talent. I would think Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, no talent pretty well.
Yeah, I would say so.
Hear their reactions to the Eagles selecting Quinyon Mitchell last night. Hear their thoughts on him as the player and how good he could be for the Philadelphia Eagles. You will hear from the analysts, not just John and Connor and I, the analysts, Hoodie, Saban, Riddick, and more, talking about the Eagles draft last night. It's Kincade and Salciunas right here, 97.5 The Fanatic. Salciunas on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. Dude, it could be pouring rain outside. I wouldn't care. It's a beautiful Friday morning to be a Philadelphia sports fan because of what happened last night, starting with the Phillies winning the afternoon, and then the Sixers' victory over the New York Knicks last night. Joel Embiid's 50 spot. Seeing other guys step up like Kelly Oubre and campaign, that goes a long way in a 7-game series. Love that. And then, of course, the draft playing just exactly the way a lot of us wanted it to, where they didn't even have to trade up to get Quinyon Mitchell. I think the majority of those fans wanted an impact corner. Is that correct? Did you get that vibe? Yeah. And they got that.
It was awesome.
Without having to trade up, without having to get rid of one of those 2 second-round picks that you had, right? You were able to stand pat at 22 and get your guy. And we're excited for it. But you know what? How about instead of us doing the talking at this point about Quinyon Mitchell,
listen to this.
Let's let the guys that, for college football or the guys that may have college football or could have been a coach of the Philadelphia Eagles if the Eagles weren't cowards and kept Nick Sirianni. I'll get to that another day. But let's start with one of the greatest college coaches of all time, Nick Saban, and his thoughts on the Eagles' selection of Quinyon Mitchell.
Well, he was our number one guy in the portal last year to try to get to come out of the portal. Yeah. And he would never get in the portal. So it was
right.
But this guy is a really good player. He's got everything. He tackles decently. He can play man-to-man. He plays the ball in the deep part of the field. I'm sold on this guy because the MAC doesn't have great speed. It's not a speed league, so I was worried about level of comp when I watched him. But at the Senior Bowl, this guy guarded him better than anybody.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he really did.
That's where his stock went to.
And I think that's where his stock went up. And, I think they're getting a really good player.
Think about that for a second. So Nick Saban said, look, I don't know about the talent that he went up against, but he said that after saying he was our number one guy that we were targeting if he entered the transfer portal, and he never entered.
And what does that tell you about Kool-Aid?
Right.
And what does it tell you about
Arnold?
Arnold.
Yeah. He
wanted
number
this
one guy. He wanted Quinyon Mitchell, and he was not able to get him because he never went in to the transfer portal. But that's one of the greatest college coaches of all time.
He is the greatest.
And, oh, by the way, they pump out Alabama corners into the NFL all the time. And if he saw him as an Alabama corner,
he wanted him as an Alabama corner.
That's a pretty freaking good sign for the Eagles. Now, how about one of the greatest, I'll say the greatest NFL coaches of all time? Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee draft special yesterday. There was an ABC, there was an ESPN, there was an NFL Network, and then Pat McAfee, of course, is at ESPN now. He had Bill Belichick on as one of his guests, as one of the analysts at their desk. And here's Hoodie talking about Quinyon Mitchell.
I think what helped them a little bit was the Senior Bowl, playing against good competition there. But they played some good schools. They played Illinois. He had a big game against Northern Illinois with the 3 interceptions. But I think this is a big physical kid that'll help also play on special teams. So he'll help him on all 4 downs. But really, as a perimeter guy, he's got good skills, and I'm sure they'll develop him and just be a better man-to-man player. He hasn't played probably enough man-to-man against high-level competition yet, but he'll get there.
All right, so that was Bill Belichick. He'll get there. And look, as I said, Arnold has been talked about as the most pro-ready cornerback, but Mitchell might have the highest ceiling.
Well, I think he has the highest ceiling. His measurables are clearly the highest. And more important, Bill Belichick, to me, like, I just looked at both of those guys last night, and I got to hear both of us bouncing around. Bill, compared to Saban had a master's class from being a college coach.
Right.
Bill obviously looked at some tape and did some research and seemed prepared.
Right.
But Saban off the just top of his head,
you're going to probably take Saban's word for it before Belichick.
More.
Now, another guy whose word you might want to take for it, even though, good for him making all the money that he's made in his career, even though I think mock drafts is thievery, as you know. By the way, how did that mock drafts go yesterday? Did Michael Penix, anybody have him going to the Falcons? Cooper DeJean, top 15 pick. He doesn't even get drafted last night. That's why I'm anti-mock draft, John.
You don't like mock drafts.
But I know this guy does a lot of research, so I'm not going to rip him for anything. Mel Kiper his thoughts on the selection of Quinyon Mitchell.
It's nice to get CB1 without having to trade up for him.
Yeah.
That's what they basically did. They waited out because there was a lot of talk they would move up. That was clearly their major need area in this draft was cornerback, maybe the offensive line. They like to go in the trenches, but they had to have a young corner with speed, whether it was Nate Wiggins, whether it was Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Terry and Art. They had to get their guy. They didn't have to worry about it. They got their CB1, no defensive back had been taken, and here we have the first corner off the board in Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo.
I mean, it's beautiful where he says they got their CB1 without having to trade up. And we all thought that if they were going to draft corner, that they would have to trade up for it.
And we all questioned whether they would draft corner.
Right, because that's something that they don't do.
It's something they don't do. Howie has recreated himself.
Yes.
Howie has learned from past mistakes. Not saying that it would have been a mistake to go offensive line.
No, it would not have been a mistake.
But he has tricks up his sleeve that maybe we didn't know he had.
And also, he's always one of the things that people point out about Howie is that he's ahead of the curve a lot, right? So in a league where it's become offense, well, first he got 2 wide receivers locked down in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. So he's got the offense part of the factor. But he goes, all right, I'm going to draft a corner in the first round when the first 14 picks were offensive players. And, oh, by the way, if you go back to free agency, nobody's valuing running backs anymore? I'm going to get Saquon Barkley and get him for technically a cheap deal. Because
a 2-year deal.
Because the cap hit isn't bad.
No.
So Howie Roseman is always ahead of the curve. The only thing that we just have to kind of wait on and see is what do they do at linebacker, and that could be that could be today. We could see that at some point today in rounds 2 or 3, or we see it in the 4th round. We'll find out. But all I know is Howie Roseman he's on fire right now, right? Like, between his free agency, his trades.
I think the contracts to me is still number 1 on my list of what I've loved this offseason.
Right. And
the contract extension.
Dude, he's been hitting heat checks. We were talking about Sixers heat checks. He's been hitting heat checks since March.
He's saying, I'm him, right? He's pounding his chest.
Howie Roseman.
I'm him. I'm Howie Roseman. All right, let's play one more for you, and then we'll get to some calls. You can call in or text in at 610-632-0975. A guy that I think is absolutely tremendous, and I'm still waiting for the day where he gets into an NFL front office.
What's that?
Here's Lou Riddick reacting to the pick last night.
I mean, he's over 6 foot, 195 pounds, 4'3", 38 vertical jump, and he can do it all. We'll just run through all the different things that this young man can do, starting with, lining up in man coverage. And look, even if it isn't right at the beginning here, he loses leverage. He loses his inside leverage. I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to run to that upfield shoulder. Ball's a little bit underthrown. I'm going to time it up and make the PBU. Off man coverage, you know what? I'm going to include the 3-step. I'm not even going to backpedal because I'm looking at the quarterback. Quarterback's not dropping. I'm just going to drive hard on the slant. I got you. Awareness. Oh, there might be a little bit of a communication mishap here. Somebody's running free down the sideline. I'll take him. I'll make the play. Don't worry about it. I'll cover you up. If you want to blitz me off the boundary here like you do in college football, the short side of the field, I can come off here. I'm not just going to go for the sack either. I'm going to go for the strip sack and recover it, and then run support. I will come up and set the edge, and I will get ball carriers on the ground. There are numerous plays where he put big hits on people. They got a complete corner right here. I don't care if he came from a smaller school, not a traditional powerhouse school. He is a schooled player and a great person. I have to reemphasize that. Jason Candle, his head coach, said, you are getting an absolute stud of a person, which is one of the most important things that determines success.
I love that. I mean, and he said he can tackle.
Lewis is really good.
I love
you said that. He's
I
good.
think Lou is tremendous.
I think he's his information for words spoken is as good as there is as far as an
analyst. Well,
analyst.
Connor got in my ear. I'll pull you behind the curtain. Connor got in my ear, said, "Oh, this is a minute long. I'll see if I can cut out of it or cut it down at some point."
It was fantastic.
I loved every second of that clip.
Well, he's incredible. He's incredible with that. It's just that's an incredible message, though.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it is. It's clear. I never thought they'd get him.
No. And
not without trading him.
Right,
Maybe.
could have got him at 16.
Maybe without trading.
They got him at 22. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jesse in the Northeast. Jesse, you're on.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
What's
man?
up, Jesse?
What a beautiful day it is today.
Oh, yeah.
Let me start off with this. Tunis, play the song.
We're not doing this, by the way.
That's the first.
For Jesse, we'll give it.
Let me tell you, that is the first of the year.
Yes,
of
it
the whole
is.
season, because I refused to play it this year.
Yeah, you did.
Because what has it gotten to me? It's
No,
gotten
Right.
it's gotten me.
It's like
paid.
playing "Dancing on My Own" and saying that's a winning song.
After last night, you had to play that song, Tunis. You had to.
A 50 spot.
What a day, man. What a day. Starting off with, the afternoon game with the Phillies, getting a shutout, Wheeler pitched great, and then the Sixers, and then, of course, the Eagles getting that pick. Oh, man, what a beautiful day it is.
Wait till Sunday at 1.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that place is really going to – you think that place was rocking yesterday? Sunday is really going to be rocking.
And by the way, you cockroaches that keep selling your seats to Knicks fans.
Yeah,
honestly.
we need to dive into that a little bit more.
Give up your season tickets, please.
Oh.
You are absolutely sports whores.
I was just told, Jesse, thanks for the call, that we will get into it more.
Oh, really? Good.
I would imagine that's a hint at today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Take it, boys. We'll catch up.
There you go. Good.
It needs to be talked about.
Yes. Done. Yes.
Or it's unbelievable.
They are. They're sports whores.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to continue reacting to the draft and the Sixers. It was just such a beautiful night last night. Today is an absolute celebration. But what I want to do, and our man Brendan Gunn put this together, so credit to you, B. Gunn, working hard as always.
Had a great day today.
Yep, our associate producer. I wanted to kind of relive yesterday. I want to hear from start to finish. Phillies win, and it won't be as much Phillies, but Phillies win. Good win for the Phillies. Sixers win against the Knicks. And some sounds from the draft last night. You're going to hear a quick little montage.
That's a great day.
Of the day that we are celebrating today on this Friday morning. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, so coming up, we'll get to more of your calls and more of your texts. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. And today, there's no question of the day. There's no, would you do this? Would you do that?
Would you trade A.J. Brown now that he's in a long-term contract and try to get 3 stars from this team?
Would you wave the magic wand to get rid of the contract?
No.
No, today is a day of freaking celebration because yesterday was just an amazing day to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Take any win that you can get, all right? It's not just all about championships. I always say sports is the best reality TV that there is because there's no script to it, even though there are some Looney Tunes that think that sports are scripted. But you didn't know how yesterday was going to go. And yesterday was an amazing day from the Phillies to the Sixers to the Eagles. And the best way to tell you about what happened was to relive it with some audio. Here's a little montage put together by our associate producer, Brendan Gunn, starting with the Phillies, into the Sixers, and into the moment the Eagles select Quinyon Mitchell.
Final day here in Cincinnati. It's the last time the Phillies will face the Reds unless they see them in the postseason. The Reds have already won the season series, but the Phillies are looking to salvage this 4-game set by getting a split this afternoon here at Great American Ballpark. Facing Zach Wheeler. Swing and a miss. Well, that's a good start. The splitter, again, it's becoming a pitch that's evolving for Zach. 1 out here in the first. Hit on the ground. Over the first base bag down the right field line. That's going to go all the way to the corner. Castellanos is being waved home by Dusty. They're having a little trouble getting it in right field, so Stott's going to third, and he'll be stopped there. The ball gets away, but he won't go any farther, and the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Fly ball left field. This should do the job. RBI and a sac fly by Schwarber. 2-0 Phils. That one's pulled deep in the air to right field. Welcome back, Bryce Harper. A 2-run home run. He's amazing with these moments. The same week his third child, his second daughter, was born. He goes yard and gives the Phils a 4-0 lead.
So I thought it was pretty cool. I think dad strength is a real thing, so.
Wow, man. Daddy strength.
And Zach Wheeler with 6 shutout innings here this afternoon. His scoreless streak is at 13 in the third. The 1-2. Yeah. On the inside corner, strike 3 call. In this series, the Phillies pitching staff has thrown a shutout against the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have not been shut out when the Phillies had arrived here in Cincinnati, but the Phillies have picked up 2 in the 4 games. They win it today by a final score of 5-0.
Sixers taking on the Knicks. Joel Embiid with the opening tap. It over Hart right there. Now they do steal it. Oubre turns it over. Third turnover on the Sixers. Hart knocked it away. Now Oubre steals it from DiVincenzo, and into the lane, Oubre with a slam. Whoa, man, this is like an old Central Division battle in the NFL. No good. Reed with a rebound. Back out to Maxey. He fakes a three. Drives on McBride. Step back. Right wing. 14-footer. Counted. It's good. Maxey now 2 of 6. Sixers go to Payne. He shoots another deep one, and it's in. Cameron Payne saying, "Put me in, coach. I want to play." Non-factor in the first 2 games, but he buries a deep 3 there. A 28-footer, and down it goes. Sixers have taken the lead. Maxey between the legs to the left side of Embiid. Embiid against Hartstein. Rises for another 3, and it's good again. He's made back-to-back threes. And the Sixers lead by 10. Joel Embiid with 30. Over to Embiid for 3. It's up and good. Are you kidding me? Another 3. What is going on? The Sixers are pouring in threes. Sixers win the game. Final score 125 to 114. 50 points for Joel Embiid.
The one thing I'm not going to do is give up. No matter what happens, got to keep pushing, got to keep fighting, got to keep putting my body on the line for my family, for this city, for this team.
Jordan Mailata to make the Eagles selection. Take it, Jordan.
Let's go. How good is this? Thank you, Uncle Roger. Good evening to those of you from the beautiful land down under. With the 22nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Eagles select Quinyon Mitchell, defensive back, Toledo. Baby.
This guy is a really good player. He's got everything. He tackles it decently. He can play man-to-man. He plays the ball in the deep part of the field.
It's nice to get CB1 without having to trade up for him.
Yeah.
That's what they basically did. They waited out because there was a lot of talk they would move up. That was clearly their major need area. They got their CB1.
You know, and really, I guess at the end of the day, with how good of a player he was, the thing that always kept coming up is how good of a person, how good of a teammate, how hard of a worker, how competitive, and those are things you want to hear.
I feel like right now I'm with the right fit. I'm with the right organization. We're the right players, right city. So, I feel good about this draft pick right here.
Great job, B. Gunn. Brendan Gunn,
Really
our
nice
associate
work.
Producer, putting together a 4-minute montage of yesterday. I can't believe we were able to put it together in 4 minutes.
What a great day, though.
But 4 minutes of Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles. 2 teams in game action, 1 in draft day, and I would say all 3 won last night. Phillies win their game, Sixers win their game, and I would say the Eagles won at least their portion of the draft. But I could make the case that they probably had one of the better draft days out of any of the teams. I mean, you look, there are some good picks for some of the teams. Obviously the Bears getting Caleb Williams is a win for them. Some teams made good selections. Some teams made extremely confusing selections. What the Eagles did last night was exactly what a lot of us wanted them to do, and they didn't have to trade up for it.
And more importantly too, I've been distracted a little bit with it. I'm already looking at the board for tonight going,
oh, well, of course.
Oh my gosh, there's so much there.
Yep.
There's so much there. And right now I'm leaning towards I got a plan for tonight.
You got a plan?
I got a plan.
All right, well, we'll hear that plan in the 9 o'clock hour because that's when we're going to start turning our page to tonight and the rest of this weekend because the Sixers take on the Knicks Game 4 on Sunday. So we'll get to that at some point. But for now, it is your time to call in and text in at 610-632-0975 and react to the incredible night last night in Philadelphia sports. And, of course, coming up next at 8:05, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Love it.
Now, let me get to this call real quick. My man, the betting guru. Give Embiid his flowers, please.
Yeah, it's beautiful when the threes fall down to this.
Give Embiid his flowers, please. And I want you to water them, and I want you to fertilize them, and I want you to take care of those flowers, and just so Embiid has a bouquet at all times, okay?
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I mean, Mr. Robinson did get hurt. I think contributed a little.
Look at that. He was dropping 50 whether Robinson was playing with 3 legs or not. Come on.
Nah, it was beautiful last night. We are winning this series, especially for that fact that there is no Mitchell Robinson, looks like, going forward. And they got, 2 of their best big men down. But, like I
said, that was a beautiful day. I can't say anything but it. It's all positivity from the Guru. I'll be there Sunday. Got a big series bet. And Embiid, hopefully he keeps that rhythm in the next game and then throughout the playoffs, because this is a beautiful thing.
Damn right,
Now, Guru, did you do an alternate line last night like I did?
No, I actually heard you talking about it. I was kicking myself after the fact. I actually thought about it.
I know.
I was sweating it out to a minute to go. Remember, it was an 8-point lead.
Guru, I can tell you, and thanks for the call, brother. Great hearing from you. I think he's got some big money on the Sixers to win the series.
Okay, well then I hope he does well.
He
love
does
that.
well with that kind of stuff.
Good job, Guru.
All right, today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming your way next at 8:05. More celebration from the Sixers win, the Eagles draft. And I also want to show some love to Tyrese Maxey because we are showing so much love to Embiid today, rightfully so. Joel Embiid talked about Tyrese Maxey after the game yesterday, and he said something that I absolutely loved hearing, and I think we can all agree with it. We'll tell you about it next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Salciunas, Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is 8:02 on Kincade and Salciunas. A wonderful Friday morning, a Fanatic Friday presented by Pumpman Philly for 24/7 emergency repair, pump replacement. Count on Pumpman Philly, the guys to know to fix your flow. All right, here's what we got ahead for you. Coming up in a few minutes, today's headlines with Connor Thomas. We do this every single day at 5, except for Wednesdays when Shefty kicks Connor to the curb. And then we do today's headlines at 8:15.
Shefty
on
comes
Wednesdays.
first. Yeah.
That spot in the future.
He'd kick your ass. So 8:05, we got today's headlines. Andrew DeCheck, we were terming it yesterday, to check in.
Yes.
We'll be calling in at 8:30 today to give his reaction. We had him on yesterday for an entire hour getting set for the NFL draft. And I would guess that even he, the draft expert, nut, case analyst, geek that he is, I expect that he didn't see any of that stuff happening yesterday.
Not the way it happened.
Not the way that it happened. He's been talking about Quinyon Mitchell for a while now.
Oh, no, he's loved him. And he's one of the players that he talked about over again.
But I don't think he thought the Eagles would get him at 20. Got him at 22.
You know what's weird is that the NFL draft went the way we wanted it to go. You and I both on the video Quinyon Mitchell.
Yep.
And that we put out on Instagram. But neither of us thought it would go the way that we did. And then we talk about that Sixers game last night.
Amazing.
The game sort of went the way I thought it would go, but the script was completely different than I thought it would go.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing.
The best part was last night, Embiid dropping 50 after what he said post game 2, where he said, we're the better team, we're going to win this series. He backed it up, and that was probably the first Joel Embiid playoff game where you're going, damn. Because remember, last year, his playoff totals were lower than his season average, blah, blah, blah. He said, all right, screw that. I'm going to drop 30 in game 1, 30 in game 2, and 50 in game 3 when my team needed me most. And he's playing through his injuries. He's playing through the Bell's palsy. He's playing through everything. And the guy just goes out there and wins. Connor, can we get a text real quick before we get to today's headlines? You can call in or text in at 610-632-0975. Today has been a celebration day. We don't you today. We're not asking you to pick a side on anything. Celebrate. So what do we got coming in on the text line, Connor?
I'm so glad you asked because this is the first time this person's ever texted the Fanatic.
Oh, good.
And it's a simple text. Which limb is Andrew chopping off?
I already said I cashed out.
I don't know. The people are asking
I don't know
for
if the limb bets you can cash out on
I
living.
cashed out the offshore sports book because FanDuel doesn't offer limbs, so I had to use an offshore account for this one.
The people
Jeffrey
want a limb,
Dahmer?
Andy.
It's like, site, what is this?
All right, you want a real text?
Yes.
I thought that was the real text.
No, I got you one. Embiid was the all-star we needed last night. How he drafted like an all-star. Last time we drafted a cornerback in the first round was Lito. I started watching highlights last night of Eagles cornerback play, and now I can't wait for more to be added. That's from Phil.
Oh, why I
love it.
Last night, John, is one of the perfect examples why I said we are actually currently in the good old days. Now, I understand it hasn't amounted to championships yet. But think about what happened last night. MVP Bryce Harper hits a home run. I know it's a game in April. I get it.
How about MVP bury the lead? MVP pitcher.
Right.
Zach Wheeler.
MVP Bryce Harper, Cy Young, Zach Wheeler.
Unbelievable.
Think about what happened yesterday in that game. MVP Embiid goes off for 50.
Right.
And then Howie Roseman, who we all, I think, now believe is an incredible general manager. I think everybody's on that, maybe on that same page.
I think we've brought enough people onto the bus.
Has a great night like that last night. That's why we are in such a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan, even though it hasn't led to championships. And I know that sucks and it hurts. Man, there's some worse off cities right now.
There are.
We have it very, very good in Philadelphia. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Hello, Connor. What do we got?
What's
Hi,
up?
Connor.
We got a lot of good stuff today. Busy day yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard, but a lot of things happened. And let's start with something that's becoming a yearly event almost. It's the reaction to the Eagles' wonderful draft selection by one of the rival players. Micah Parsons reacted to the Eagles
yeah,
pick.
that's right, because he does, what, Bleacher Report or something?
He does something or
I'll
other.
tell you, he's funny and he's genuine.
He also wants to play for the Eagles.
I'll tell you what he's not. He is not happy that the Eagles got Quinyon Mitchell. Take a listen.
The 22nd pick, the Eagles selecting Micah Parsons' favorite player for the second straight year. Quarterback out of Toledo, Quinyon Mitchell. You know what? Before we get to the video, Micah, how you feeling?
I mean, I'm honestly really disgusted on how lucky the Eagles are. It's just like Chris, I do not know how he fell that far.
Love it.
Last year was Jalen Carter. He
thought best player in the draft.
Yeah,
last year,
and now he does it again yesterday. There's a fan account, like a big Cowboys fan account, and I saw his tweet last night saying like, "I hate the Eagles." Right, and not just because he's a Cowboys fan,
sure,
but because it's in reaction to the Eagles getting another incredible player via the draft. That's awesome.
You just love to hear it. Don't worry, Mike. You'll be here in a couple years and you can enjoy it. Also, yesterday was a great day, like not just for sports, but also just guys being dudes. You hang out, a lot of games to watch. You watch the Phils, the Sixers, the draft. It was awesome. And the Phillies had a little bit of a guys being dudes moment after the game when Bryce Harper was getting the cup bath after in the post-game interview.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah. That a three.
Probably the first time.
Got him.
Probably the first time that's ever happened.
He just lost one right there.
The got him was in response to Bryce Harper giving a little cup check.
Did a cup check to Bryson Stott.
Just a no-look backhand right to the place you don't want to. That's when you know the team's feeling good, is when they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, until Bryson Stott's questionable today due to groin strain.
Yeah, groin strain with it.
There was a guy, by the way, at PJ's last night, John pointed out to me, that looked just like Bryson Stott.
I mean, seriously, he was at the bar at PJ in Wynwood.
It was weird. Like
Bryson Stott.
We thought AOK was about to start playing as he walked into the building. It was crazy.
All right, last one for you guys here. I promise you we were going to talk about it, but it's not just me. The great Sir Charles had something to say about the crowd last night.
I'm disgusted. Disgusted at what? All those Knicks fans there. Philadelphia's a 200 miles. It's 100 miles away. I don't give a damn. We're the Philadelphia 76ers. You can't have them people in your building making all that noise. Sounds like a home game for New York. It does. Yeah. It really sounds like a home game for the Knicks. I am so disappointed. You guys have to stop. I guarantee you, them people in New York wouldn't sell Sixers tickets.
All right,
Charles ain't lying.
So, as I've said,
he's not lying.
We don't have like a question today, right? We're celebrating today. But I want to ask the question, and I wonder if we have any listeners who were the ticket sellers. We would love to hear from you.
You can be anonymous.
Call in, and I want you to call in. All right? This is more than a text in. If you sold your ticket to a Knicks fan last night, you need to tell us why. And I hope it's not just for profit. Like, I wonder if somebody goes, look, I don't like the way this series is going. We had the guy that called in. Guy that called in the other day that had courtside seats, and he called his rep.
He was going to give them away.
He called his rep. He was not renewing next year.
By the way, he has not called us to give us the Sunday seats that he said he was going to do.
It's a bit of a violation. Come on, man. If you're just giving them away, give them to us. We would appreciate it.
That's why he's not giving them away.
But if you sold your tickets and you know that a Knicks fan or the chance that a Knicks fan could have bought them, we want to know why at 610-632-05.
Why are you a sports whore?
That was bad last night. It was bad last night. Look, it's your money. I get it. You're trying to do whatever you can to make a quick buck. But I just can't believe, we already have one. Okay.
I had to sell it. Like, you can't pass on a profit like this.
Well, let's see what Mark in Philly has to say. Mark, you sold your tickets last night.
Yes, I've been a season ticket holder since 1973.
Okay, why'd you sell your tickets?
30 games a year. I was offered $3,000 for 4 seats. I have 2 sets of 4. I sold them for $6,000. Then I was able to get in the building through the executive door and stood in the box.
Oh, it's nice that you're able to get in through the executive door, but you also allowed eight Knicks fans to go in through the regular door.
Yeah, if my team is worried about Knicks fans being in the building, then I'm in bad shape.
No, what's bad shape, Mark, seriously, though, is that buying tickets, because when you're making that kind of investment, and then at the biggest games of the year, you're letting in the enemy to make us look. It is.
I went to both games in New York, and they didn't think I was the enemy.
No, there were no, Mark.
No, you are the enemy. We're enemy going to New York.
We didn't hear any. In the games at Madison Square Garden, there was no buzz of Sixer fans. None. Not even audible. That's ridiculous.
There was a whole group of like 16.
Yeah, but there wasn't any. You couldn't hear it
loud.
on television.
Last night, it was loud coming from the Knicks fans that you allowed in, Mark.
Do you think the Knicks fans last night had a little to cheer about, and the Philly fans in New York didn't have much to cheer about?
No, they lost,
What do you mean?
but that doesn't matter.
What
The
do you
fact
mean
that
you didn't have a lot to cheer
they
about
got
in
into the
those
building
games?
and they had a chance to cheer, and they were cheering pretty early on.
Mark, those games went down to the freaking wire. And the second game, you were leading the whole game. You had tons of things to cheer about. What are you talking about?
I stayed to the end of both New York games. And
Yeah, but you said what did they have to cheer about?
He's not
you
getting
had
it, John.
everything to cheer about,
Yeah,
Mark.
No, I didn't have much to cheer about during.
Well,
those
you had
two
plenty to
games.
cheer about. Don't sell your tickets on Sunday, Mark.
Yeah, come
Seriously.
on, Mark. Are you going Sunday?
I'll probably wind up in the press box again.
Oh, jeez, that's awful.
jeez.
That's awful. Get out of here.
Oh,
That's
press box.
awful. I'm going to be where I can be, but I'm still going to make my big profit. Stop it, Mark. That's terrible.
He allowed 8 Knicks fans into the Wells Fargo Center last night.
You brought a bag of cockroaches into your house, and then you're letting everybody else having to be the ones to have to squish them and be grossed out by them.
And you know what? I should have asked, but I didn't want to talk to him anymore. With all due respect, Mark. I guarantee you he probably says, we're the best fan base in the country.
No, he's 51 years. No, he's saying, I'm making the best profit in the country.
But he probably thinks that Philadelphia fans are the best fans in the country, which I believe so are to be true. But you can't say that and also sell your tickets to literally the enemy that's not far from here.
Well, you think Sixers fans are the best in the NBA? I do not.
I'm saying Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia's supposed to be.
Yes.
That's an embarrassing showing last
I
night.
agree.
And Charles Barkley has every right to call it out.
I'm not embarrassed that Sixers fans didn't pay $6,000. I'm embarrassed that somebody sold.
No, he didn't have to pay $6,000 for those seats.
No, he
He's
sold the
making
tickets.
profit.
Yeah. Connor?
We have an interesting text on this.
Okay.
So this person says, why did they sell the tickets? It was only for profit. Joel goes down, then he gets hurt again before they come back home. Do you think people are as excited to go to that game as they normally would be? They're expecting them to fall flat on their face again, so might as well make a profit in the course.
Well, then you didn't watch the first 2 games.
Correct.
Because they lost both games. But they too, if we're being honest.
Yes.
If it wasn't for how the officials handled things during the final 30 seconds of that game. And in game 1, they could have won. They didn't win it. The Knicks won. They are the higher seed. They were on their home court. Joel Embiid was clearly more hampered in game 1 than he was in game 2. But the Sixers, the 2-0 series lead doesn't tell the full story. And
Not at
for
all.
you to say, oh, I sold my tickets because they're down 2-0 in the series, then you actually haven't been watching.
And Embiid's beaten up. There was no reason to think Embiid wasn't going to have a great game last night. None. There was no reason. 50 points? No. Wasn't expecting that. There was zero reason to not have big expectation that he was going to be the best player on the floor, period.
Now, Jackie checks in. She says, you're making the assumption people know who they're selling to. If you use Ticketmaster's exchange service, it's a blind sell. You simply post it and go from there. But here's my response to you, Jackie. You putting them up for sale allows the opportunity for Knicks fans to buy them.
Absolutely.
Plain
it's
and simple.
It's absurd.
And you know what you're doing when you're putting them up. You're trying to make the profit, and you don't care who buys them.
I mean, they're a college. The Southern college fan bases do it really well, Connor. They will take it and say, if you buy season tickets to you're talking about Clemson, Georgia, things like that. For Alabama, they put these policies in place where they go, if your tickets show up on the secondary market more than one
X
time or
amount
two
of
times,
yeah.
your tickets will be revoked, and the next person in season ticket line will take them the next year. It's that if you're just buying tickets so you can whore out and make as much money profit as you want, and then brag about how much money you make and everything like that.
Which Mark was doing.
I got to tell you, that makes me throw up in my mouth. And I wish the Sixers and other organizations had that policy, because, like the Eagles, have a season ticket holder policy.
Yes.
There's a season ticket holder waiting list that's huge. I would love to say, if those season tickets end up on the secondary market, they're on more than 2 times, then the next year, we have somebody else who would like those seats.
Yep. Now, I don't know Mark. Never met him.
What do you mean? You just talked to him on the phone?
I've never met him face to face.
Mark likes to brag.
He
enjoys it.
But I'm gonna guess he can't win in a fight 1 versus 8. Right? I don't think
Where
many
are
of
you
us
going?
can. You'll get it. Well, I still went to the game. I still bought a ticket. Okay, you went by yourself, but allowed 8 Knicks fans to go into the building. You're outnumbered 8-1 situation. Forget yelling and screaming. I would imagine in a fight he's losing that one.
And you didn't care enough. I mean, like, to me, flat out, you didn't care.
Well, I stayed until the end of both Knicks games.
Oh,
New York.
my gosh.
Let's go to Bam in Long Beach. What's up, Bam?
Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What are you up to, Bam?
I'm chilling. I'm wearing my favorite number 22 Penn State jersey. You know
Is
why?
that right?
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Because number 22 was Johnny Cappelletti, and
Yep.
he hit number 22.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yep. So that's why I kind of knew 22 of Johnny Cappelletti. I grew
That is a
in
great
the same neighborhood.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I grew up in the same neighborhood.
What's that,
as
Drexel?
Darby.
Upper Darby.
The pick last night.
I love it. And I think today with the 50th pick and the 53rd
50
pick,
and 53, yeah.
I think they're going to either try. The reason I'm still, poo-poo about the Hassan Reddick trade, but I think we're going to go get a household name, man. We're going to go get Trotter Jr.
They're
You
not-
can't do that.
you're
Not
doing
in round.
that. Yeah.
Not tonight.
Yeah, look, I appreciate the call.
A second round.
He's
pick.
a third
We'll
or
ask,
fourth
we'll-
round pick.
I don't. Third. That's
we'll
that's
ask
just me.
Andrew
And
DiCecco
but I'm not a
about it.
talent evaluator. We'll ask Andrew DiCecco.
I know.
People are hung up on this name thing.
I know
God's
why we
sakes.
do it. I know why we do it. And I love that we do it. But I also hate that we do it at the same time because he's not like there were people. I read a tweet yesterday.
Gotta go get him
in the first round.
Oh my gosh!
If the Eagles or if any team drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and this is all due respect to the Trotter family who we love and Trotter Jr. last night in the first round, that general manager would have been fired.
And I think third is a question mark. I will tell you this right now. Edgerrin Cooper, right. Those are two names tonight that are going to go by the mid-40s. So if Howie could get up and get one of those two guys, you have a linebacker who can do so many things. And again, we'll ask Andrew DiCecco about it in our DiCeck-in.
Yeah, he joins us coming up at 8:30. Now, more texts coming in, Connor? No texts? Okay.
No cockroach text.
No cockroach text.
I
about,
swear to you, I think
about
it's just
selling tickets.
It's unbelievable.
We can't be doing this. Come on, we're supposed to be the best fan base in the country. All right, let's show up. Be ready for Game 4 Sunday at 1 o'clock. All right, Andrew DiCecco from Inside the Birds. He joined us for an entire hour yesterday. He will be joining us next segment, just for a segment. His thoughts on how the draft played out for the Eagles last night, his thoughts on Quinyon Mitchell, his thoughts on what they could do on day 2, rounds 2 and 3 today. What can the Eagles do? Do they get into the third round? We'll find out. But his thoughts on everything that unfolded for the Eagles yesterday, which was a pretty freaking damn good draft day 1 for the Eagles, and more reaction to the Sixers' victory. Joel Embiid, you can text in or call in at 612-0975. It's Kincade Salciunas right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A first-round corner, Connor Thomas. This update is
Kincade Salciunas is brought to you by Avello Airlines. Avello is now flying out of Wilmington Airport with nonstop flights to over 10 cities, including cities in Florida and San Juan, Puerto Rico. ELOair.com.
It is 8:30 on Kincade and Salciunas. Day of that. So in the 9 o'clock hour, we will announce our 4 winners. A little bit different this week.
We got a beautiful plan for it.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been calling live on the air the individual winners, but today's such a busy day between the Sixers and the Eagles that we'll just announce the 4 winners at some point during the 9 o'clock hour. We'll keep you posted on how we're going to do that. We've just been so focused on this draft day reaction and the Sixers reaction. And also, we just got to enjoy some pretzels, free cheese stuffed pretzels. I'm
pretzel bites.
They're
pretzel
like the bites. Yes. I might eat 600 of them today. I told you guys that. I could probably do it.
You like the cheese in the pretzel?
Yes, they're absolutely delicious. Warm and delicious and ready in seconds. Super pretzels, soft pretzels are the snack you can savor on any schedule. Available at more than 52,000 stores throughout the U.S. I'm wearing the trucker hat, Super Pretzel. So is Connor. And I'm a fan of funky socks. So I got the Super Pretzel socks.
Yeah, I got to live a pair.
That's good.
So it's good. So
I'll be rocking these at some point next week. All right, but let's head to the Comcast Business Hotline. Help you move forward with what's next. He joined us for an hour yesterday and was tremendous on all of his draft analysis. He's a draft geek. He told us
he's a geek.
His favorite day is tomorrow, rounds 4 through 6. A lot of people love round. Guess that he did not see happening last night in the NFL draft. Our man from Inside the Birds, Andrew DeCecco, joins us. Andrew, what the heck went down on round 1 of the NFL draft?
Good morning, guys. How about that? All podcasts can be. I don't know what was going on. I don't know how anyone could have foreseen Michael Penix going 8, Bo Nix going early.
How about Latham going early?
Yeah, Latham the 7.
Latham going at. I mean, man, that draft. I was like, what is going on here? But that was really fun to follow. I'll tell you that much. And the board could not have fallen any better for the Philadelphia Eagles, who came away with the top corner, at least on my board and the board of many, in the draft. You have that's a home run.
I got to tell you, Andrew, is that one of the things that is, as you watch a draft go on. I couldn't have been the Eagles general manager last night because I would have blinked and called Les Snead at 19 and said, I want to make sure that I'm able to get Mitchell, or tried to see if there's any way the Steelers would go 20 to 22. I would have been blinking. Howie Roseman didn't blink.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, John, because that was one of my prominent takeaways coming out of yesterday is Howie Roseman's unflinching resolve to sit tight and wait for the player to come to him. He played the board perfectly. And I think he honestly would have been happy with either corner that was going to be there. Would they have probably liked the Troy Fautanu at 20? Probably. And who knows if they tried to actually trade. He had his choice, and he was able to get it. The head coach at Toledo, Jason Candle, very good relationship with Nick Sirianni. His defensive coordinator at Toledo was Vinny Cares, the son of Larry Cares, Nick Sirianni's mentor. So anything they wanted to know about Quinyon Mitchell, they had it.
Are you surprised that it was Mitchell? Because we talked a lot about Terry and Arnold as well. We talked a lot about Nate Wiggins as well. He falls to 30. Arnold falls to 24. Are you surprised that it was Mitchell? I know you had him at number 1 on your draft board.
I wasn't entirely surprised, Andrew, just because of the intel that they were able to gather on the player. And I thought that, and I've gotten this question a lot, guys, since the draft happened. Playing at Toledo, are you concerned about his level of play transitioning to the NFL? And I would say no, because at every stop of the way, I look at how he matched up at the Senior Bowl with guys like Michigan wide receiver Roman Wilson and some of the bigger guys. He checked off every box, and he ran a 4.3. They got the total package here, and for me, that was clearing away that the top corner. Argue that one as well, but I just think that Quinyon Mitchell helped himself so much throughout the process.
Last year, we were having lunch in the midst of me doing chemo. Got a chance to see Andrew, and he tells me about Edgerrin Cooper and Junior Colson. They're both on the board. And they both are potentially in reach as we head towards tonight.
Maybe this is the year that Howie turns back the hands of time. We saw them take a corner for the first time since 2002. Perhaps at 50 or 53, they consider taking Michigan linebacker Junior Colson, who, in my opinion, is the top class. Really good in coverage. He's built sort of like an old-school linebacker at 250, so he can come downhill, but he can also play in space. I think he's the best in coverage and also the most consistent down-to-down. And he's a Mike linebacker, which is the middle linebacker position, versus Edgerrin Cooper, who's more of a will, the weak side, and plays a similar game as Devin White. Similar skill set.
Do they both fit in what Fangio wants to do?
Yeah, they do. But I think all things equal, you would take the coverage and the experience. He's played a ton of football. Junior Colson, I'm speaking about, and his ability to kind of hold up the pass well.
Speaking to Andrew Pacheco on the Comcast Business Hotline now. Andrew, still no third-round pick for the Eagles as of right now. Do you expect them at some point to acquire a third-round pick for tonight?
I do, because it's kind of hard, Andrew, to envision being able to sit on their hands at 50 from 53 all the way until 120 early on tomorrow's draft board and not be active. I just think that there's so much value to be had in the third round. When you look at Kentucky linebacker Trevin Wallace, there's North Carolina linebacker Cedric Gray that could be available there. There's some really good edge rusher prospects. I just think that you're missing out significantly if you're not able to recoup a third-round pick.
How about offensive line? Obviously, we were talking about last night. A lot of us were convinced that Howie would still go with his fastball and pick an offensive lineman. What about the offensive line prospects for tonight in both rounds?
Great question. I really like Patrick Paul. He's an offensive tackle from Houston. I thought there was a chance he may even creep into the end of the first round, but as we stand right now, he's one of the top prospects available as we move into day two.
All right.
I would say moving forward towards day two, John, there's Mason McCormick. He's a guard from South Dakota State. Extremely physical. I know for a fact that TJ Pagnetti, the Eagles' assistant offensive line coach, went to their pro day and put them through a private workout. So there's obviously some interest there as well.
Andrew, this is a simple question, and then we'll explain why. What round will Jeremiah Trotter Jr. be drafted in? All right, because we earlier today saying that the Eagles need to get him in the second round today, and he's going to be, a generational player. But third, you believe he's going in the third round?
I think he's a 3 or 4, Andrew, but I would settle on third round. I think there's enough on tape, enough good things that he did, and enough intrigue there that third round should be a legitimate possibility.
I'm telling you, you've had a great couple days, and I know tonight, I think you're checking in with Pat Egan and Kevin Cooney having a draft special tonight, and then tomorrow you'll be checking in, of course, all day long.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's there's so many things going on, and it's cool to be able to follow these guys throughout their college careers, then do the work throughout the pre-draft process, and then see where they're going to land, and then be able to provide that information over the airwaves to you guys.
All right, one more before we let you go, because you love Saturday. It's your favorite day of the NFL draft because you are a draft nut. Who is the player that you would love to see the most at the Eagles draft? And just tell us a little bit about him, because I just a guess, not many Eagles fans. I'm sure there's diehard draft fans, but not many Eagles fans know some of the names that will be going on day 3.
Okay, so I'll go with Sione Vaki. He's a safety from Utah. He played safety. He also played running back, where actually teams were 50-50 in where they see him at the pro level. But I see him as a safety, and he's more of a box safety, Andrew. He can play. He's okay in space, but he is a heat-seeking missile coming downhill. He's athletic on special teams, and I think he's proven that he has some decent range and has some skills that can be refined if you get him into a pro system. But really athletic guy that can double as a running back for you if you need him to.
Nobody in Philadelphia will struggle with the name Sione Vaki.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'm worried about.
You might hear him call Vaki.
I'm
worried about Quinion. I'm worried about that.
Oh, yeah. It's good. Look, it's going to be an interesting one. We got time to learn his name, though. And, man, tremendous job as always. Thank you for joining us yesterday for the hour. Thanks for checking in with us today. And enjoy your holiday, which is, again, today and tomorrow.
Expect lots of texts from me.
I will. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
There he is, Andrew DeCecco on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right, still to come, because we are not even remotely close to being done. More of your reaction to the draft and the Sixers. You can call in or text in 610-632-0975. If you missed it earlier, we actually played a montage. It was about 4 minutes long of what went down yesterday in Philadelphia sports. Because, oh, by the way, the Phillies had a shutout win. Bryce Harper goes yard. Zach Wheeler is dazzling on the mound. We will play that montage for you again because today is a day of celebration. And more on the ticket situation. The Sixers fans that sold tickets and the Knicks fans gobbled them up, to their credit. Do you feel good about yourself? I made a profit. All right. It was a bad look yesterday at the Wells Fargo Center, to the point where Charles Barkley's talking about it on the TNT, halftime report. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a 76ers playoff update on 97. Perfect.
On Kincade and Salciunas on a beautiful, beautiful freaking day.
It looks outside too.
I don't even care about the weather. I told you.
Wait a minute.
No, the apocalypse could be happening outside right now. I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Because the Sixers won last night behind Joel Embiid's 50 burger. The Eagles get Quinyon Mitchell, who I wanted, and they stayed at 22 and got him.
Can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
I still can't believe it either. We're going to play you a little montage of what happened yesterday in Philadelphia sports in a minute. But head to 975thefanatic.com and enter for a chance to win $2,000 from Mom in the Mother's Day nationwide contest. Sponsored by Pilates Florist. Make Mom's Mother's Day special with beautiful flowers from Pilates Florist. Now with 3 locations to serve you. Visit pilatesflorist.com. And we mentioned it last segment. Coming up around 9:30, we will announce airline winners. The final day of this incredible contest. Thank you again to our friends at Avello Airlines for putting this together.
You did a great job.
We are making the days, weeks, maybe years of some people by providing them 2 round-trip flights on Avello Airlines. Today's the final day of it, sponsored by Avello Airlines at Wilmington Airport. Delaware's favorite airport is close to home and has convenient parking, shorter lines, and an easy, relaxed atmosphere to fly Avello out of the Wilmington Airport. Visit AvelloAir.com. You can climb in on the phone lines, text line 610-632-0975. We're going to revisit with a caller we had earlier in the week, John.
Yes.
We'll get to him momentarily. But Brendan Gunn, our associate producer, put this together earlier today. An incredible montage of the incredible day for Philadelphia sports yesterday. Phillies, Sixers, Eagles draft. Take a listen.
Facing Zach Wheeler. Swing and a miss. Well, that's a good start. The splitter, again, it's becoming a pitch that's evolving for Zach. 1 out here in the first. Hit on the ground. Over the first base bag down the right field line. That's going to go all the way to the corner. Castellanos is being waved home by Dusty. They're having a little trouble getting it in right field, so Stott's going to third. And he'll be stopped there. The ball gets away, but he won't go any farther. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Fly ball left field. This should do the job. RBI and a sac fly by Schwarber. 2-0 Phils. That one's pulled deep in the air to right field. Welcome back, Bryce Harper. A 2-run home run. He's amazing with these moments. The same week his third child, his second daughter, was born. He goes yard and fills a 4-0 lead.
So that was pretty cool. I think dad strength is a real thing. So.
Wow, man. Daddy strength.
And Zach Wheeler with 6 shutout innings here this afternoon. The score was at 13 in the third. On the inside corner, strike 3. Series, the Phillies pitching staff has thrown a shutout against the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have not been shut out when the Phillies had arrived here in Cincinnati, but the Phillies have picked up 2 in the 4 games. They win it today by a final score of 5-0.
Sixers taking on the Knicks. Well, Embiid with the opening tap. Well, he almost turned it over hard right there. Now they do steal it. Oubre turns it over. Third turnover on the Sixers. Hart knocked it away. Now Oubre steals it from DiVincenzo and into the lane. Oubre with a slam. Whoa, man. This is like an old Central Division battle in the NFL. No good. Reed with out to Maxey. He fakes a 3. Drives on McBride. Step back. Right wing. 14-footer. Counted. It's good. Maxey now 2 of 6. Sixers go to. He shoots another deep one, and it's in. Cameron Payne saying, "Put me in, coach. I want to play." Non-factor in the first 2 games, but he buries a deep 3 there. A 28-footer, and down it goes. Sixers have taken the lead. Maxey between the legs to the left side of Embiid. Embiid against Hartstein. Rises for another 3, and it's good again. He's made back-to-back 3s, and the Sixers lead by 10. Joel Embiid with 30. Over to Embiid for 3. It's up and good. Are you kidding me? Another 3. Tom Thibodeau was looking on like, what is going on? The Sixers are pouring in 3s. Sixers win the game. Final score 125-114. 50 points for Joel Embiid.
The one thing I'm not going to do is give up. What happens, got to keep pushing, got to keep fighting, putting my body on the line for my family.
Jordan Mailata to make the Eagles selection. Take Jordan.
Let's go. How good is this? Thank you, Uncle. Good evening to those of you from the beautiful land down
Uncle
under.
Roger.
With the 22nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Quinyon Mitchell, defensive back, Toledo. Baby.
This guy is a really good player. He's got everything. He tackles decently. He can play man-to-man. He plays the ball in the deep part of the field.
It's nice to get CB1 without having to trade up for him.
Yeah.
That's what they basically did. They waited out because there was a lot of talk they would move up. That was clearly their major need area. They got their CB1.
You know, and really, I guess at the end of the day, with how good of a player he was, the thing that always kept coming up is how good of a person, how good of a teammate, how hard of a worker, how competitive, and those are things you want to hear.
I feel like right now I'm with the right fit. I'm with the right organization. We're the right players, right city. So, I feel good about this draft pick right here.
What a day yesterday. Great job, Brendan Gunn, our associate producer, putting that together. An incredible day in Philadelphia
Great
sports.
job.
Between the Phillies' victory, the Sixers win in the playoffs, and an incredible night for the Eagles in the NFL draft. All right, coming your way next. More of your calls and texts. But I want to do this. We did it earlier in the show, and I want to revisit it. We played what the analysts had to say about Quinyon Mitchell. We're fired up as Eagles fans, right? It's one thing as an Eagles fan to celebrate what the Eagles did. It's another thing for analysts to celebrate what the Eagles did. No bias attached. You're going to hear from Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Lou Riddick.
I know those guys.
Some pretty big name college
Talented.
football analysts, NFL, goats of head coaches. Hear what they had to say about Quinyon Mitchell, the cornerback the Eagles selected at 22. They didn't have to trade up to get him. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Fanatic Friday. I think I can call it a football Friday this time.
I think you can.
Presented by Pumpman Philly for 24/7 emergency repair or pump replacement. Count on Pumpman Philly, the guys to know to fix your flow. All right, so coming up this hour, around 9:30, we are going to announce our 4 Avello airline winners. I have the names in front of me. The round trip for 2, so that means we're technically giving out 8 airline tickets, but round trip for 2. 4 separate winners. We'll announce them coming up at 9:30. We are also going to, at some point during this hour, talk more about day 2 of the NFL draft. I know you have 2 names that you're focusing on. We'll break those down coming up, and other positions of need. And also, because it's Friday and we're not on again until Monday, we have to start talking a little Sixers-Knicks game 4, which is Sunday at 1 o'clock. Is this your favorite time of the year in sports?
No.
What's your favorite and I'm not like one day. I'm saying time.
Oh, you mean like time on the calendar? Yeah, it's not bad.
I still go fall because of football.
I think
and playoff baseball.
To me, there's nothing better than when your team's in postseason baseball and your football team is cooking in the second month of the season. So
right.
You sort of know what you got. Cruise to where they're heading towards an NFC title going to the Super Bowl, and the Phillies are in the World Series. There's not much better than that.
Imagine if the Giants, the New York Giants, were a well-run organization. It must be pretty cool to be a New York fan between the Rangers, Knicks, and then the Giants. Like, this would be a good time. Look, if the Flyers were in the playoffs right now, they might be getting spanked by the Rangers.
It'd
but
still be even more fun.
They'd be in the playoffs, right? This is probably the second best time because it's the 2 winter teams in the playoffs and the draft.
That's awesome.
But this is a great time to be a sports fan, period. And, of course, being a Philadelphia sports fan right now with how things are shaping up. And it's been a lot of fun reacting to it all day with you at the phone lines and the text line, 610-632-0975. We're going to get to a couple of texts and we're going to get to a couple of calls. And later this segment, we're going to play the analysts that, they watch the do and a little bit more in depth than we do. We'll hear their thoughts on the Quinyon Mitchell draft, which I believe was a home run for the Eagles. But let's go back to the phones. Let's go to our man John in Philly. John.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, John.
Hey,
What's
John.
going on, bud?
I called the other day and was comparing Adam Silver to Vince McMahon.
Yes.
You read the script.
Yeah, you called the rep and everything. You were done.
Yeah, I am. I'm done. And I think Steve Wynn may be a better comparison because he uses the talent level like Steve Wynn uses shills in a casino. Same thing. I'm not kidding. You guys think I predicted the Sixers would win both games. It's going back
and then you said what? An overtime game in Game 5.
Overtime. Game 5 is an overtime game. Mark it in your.
Who wins it? Who wins Game 5?
My FanDuel account is doing great. Who wins it? It depends
Game 5.
What side of the bed Adam Silver wakes up on. But the other thing that I wanted to bring to light was the season ticket holders for the Sixers were diminished this year from 14,000 to 12,000. The Sixers did this so they could have better control of the remaining 9,000 or so tickets. So they have no control. In fact, when I go on my account to draw the ticket and put it in my wallet for the game that night, you could very easily go to Ticketmaster by pushing a button and sell them on Ticketmaster.
Interesting.
And you have no control over who.
Or you could use them, right?
Yes, but the Sixers are to blame. The agreed is to blame why we have so many Knicks fans in the Wells Fargo Arena.
Oh, we had our last caller straight up said, or one of our last callers straight up said he sold them. So I don't know if I can't just blame the Sixers for that, John.
I realize that, but the Sixers have something to do. By diminish the ticket holders from 14,000 this year to 12,000, they're playing with more tickets, particularly for games like this, when you want the arena to be filled
with your people.
Right.
Yes.
John, I hope you're still going Sunday.
I can't do it. My son said to me, "We got to." I can't do it. He says, "Dad, we got to go." I says,
then give them to your son at least.
My account manager, I can't. Maybe I will. I'm 50-50 on that, but I'm really, really upset with the whole.
I understand, but give the tickets to your son, even if you don't go, John. We appreciate the call. We would have taken them.
We would have easily taken them.
Give the tickets to your boy,
Do
man.
something.
Give the tickets to your son. It's 4 seats for a freaking Sixers-Knicks playoff game. Now, it's funny, John.
Yes.
How we operate in Philadelphia. So last night was an incredible day for the NFL draft, right?
It was fantastic.
The Sixers win, and Embiid drops 50. Show a little love to the Phillies. Nice win against the Reds.
Nice win, yes.
So I asked Connor, I'm like, hey, do we have any texts for the next segment? Apparently, it's all about the tickets, the ticket situation.
Really?
So what are some of the texts that we have coming in about the Knicks fans that were making their way into the Wells Fargo Center?
Cockroaches.
And I'm not ripping Knicks fans.
No, I admire them for their dedication to their fandom more than the dirtbags who sold their tickets.
I don't admire them. Bing bong, hold this L, you losers. Pat from the Northeast checks in and says, I just revoked that guy's Northeast card, talking about our caller, and he ain't getting it back. So not welcome in the Northeast anymore.
If that's the same Pat from the Northeast I know, I was banned from the Northeast.
You were banned from the Northeast?
Because I said the Northeast has the worst pizza in all of Philadelphia.
Bro, come on.
By the way, you're right.
Hey, you're getting a ban too.
Watch yourself.
You're right.
Watch yourself. Pat said he knew people, the armed guards that could line up and stop me going up 95 and the Boulevard.
If you're talking about
places with these two.
If you're talking about places in the city that I'd eat pizza,
Northeast pizza game
probably
was trash.
But it
when
might
I
be
lived there
water.
for 2 years.
Might be the water.
Trash.
But Pat from the Northeast, not a fan of moving the tickets. Also, we got to check in here. That jerk that sold his tickets obviously doesn't have any friends who are Philly sports fans. That's his problem.
Yeah, but he got to stand in the press box, which I, by the way, would love to know how the hell that's happening.
I'm going to guess it wasn't the press box.
It was probably just a suite.
I'm going to guess it.
I think that was like
That's just my guess.
Okay.
All right, and then what? We have some stuff on the draft still? Because I would love to get some. I mean, that's the funny thing. The draft happened last night, and there's so much more. And look, I get it. The Sixers playoffs is probably more meaningful today than the draft.
It is, but the thing is, the reviews, as we're going to hear.
Because it was an incredible selection for the Eagles. So what do we got coming in on the text line about the draft, Connor?
Yeah, Noah in Florida checks in and says Howie is an absolute wizard. Last few years, he knew exactly what he needed to do to trade up to get his guy. This year, everyone thinks he'll trade up again, and he patiently lets his guy come to him.
That was fantastic.
He has his finger on the pulse of the league and knows exactly what he needs to do every single year. Absolute wizard. So incredibly grateful to have him as the Eagles GM.
I still just can't believe that they got him at 22.
No, I can't. I would have bet anything that never could have happened.
You mean like a limb?
Well, not a limb. But I would have bet that wouldn't have happened. In fact, as I said many times today, I would have blinked. As a general manager, this is why I couldn't do the job. Because I would have said, oh, my gosh, the number one guy that we had targeted at that area is on the board. Let's call Les Snead and the Rams and say, I want the 19th pick. I'll give you something in the future.
So let's hear the analysts. So we're going to play Kuipers first, Connor. And I say that because I love what he said specifically about how they were able to get him and who Quinyon Mitchell is. Here's Mel Kiper, one of the longtime draft analysts. Mr. Mock Drafts, Mel Kiper, on the selection of Quinyon Mitchell.
It's nice to get CB1 without having to trade up for him.
Yeah.
That's what they basically did. Waited out because there was a lot in this draft was cornerback, maybe the offensive. But they had to have a young corner with speed. So it was Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper. They had to get their guy. They didn't have to worry about it. They got their CB1. No defensive back had been taken. And here we have the first corner off the board in Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo.
I love that he said they got CB1 without having to trade up.
Well, I mean, it's because none of us expected.
I don't think they expected it.
Well, we didn't expect the Falcons to be dopes.
Yeah.
We didn't expect Latham to go as early as he did, which changes people's plans.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't expect Bo
7th
Nix
overall.
I didn't expect Bo Nix to be drafted in the first 12 picks, and I still think that is going to end up being a horrendous pick.
You could just say this. Nobody, I think, even though we know how important offense is in the NFL, I guarantee you nobody thought the first 14 players selected would be offensive players. The first defensive player wasn't drafted until pick 15.
And all the idea, too, is that in an offense league, and Howie has invested so much in it, like yesterday with the extension to A.J. Brown, which, by the way, isn't even making news today.
Right. I mean, it was Connor's leading his update. I go, oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about it, but not much.
But you went and got a guy who, as I will tell you here, is another one, is close. Here's Mike Smith, an old NFL coach, who, for one of the sites, as close to a shutdown corner as I will ever use the term.
Oh, that's great.
That's freaking awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And I said yesterday, we talked about it a lot during the show. I called in the Tyrone show yesterday. I also needed a starter out of this draft. Like, if they drafted an offensive tackle, I would have been cool with it if he was able to play guard, right? Quinyon Mitchell, is your starting cornerback. We'll see what they end up doing with James Bradbury, but I'm going to guess Howie didn't spend a first-round pick on a corner to sit behind James Bradbury. That's just a hunch.
Are you guessing that Bradbury's gone? Because that seems to be where Jeff is. I'm telling you, I think Bradbury's staying.
Yeah, because you're talking about the cap implications.
Yeah, there's no benefit.
So basically, you keep him, and he's a rotational guy.
Right. There's no benefit to cutting him. There's no financial benefit to cutting him.
I wonder if they can work out a trade where you get very little in return, like a 6th-round pick. Because James Bradbury might not want to be on the team.
If James Bradbury's gone, if Howie does that, that's the greatest Houdini act ever. If this, remember, we still could see Howie by day 3, by Saturday morning, coming out with a trade.
Yeah, he could.
And there could be something that we're not expecting, that he goes and gets a body. If he has somebody who's willing to take James Bradbury's contract off his hands, he's Houdini.
Ready, Howie. Now let's have Howie. Before we get to the rest of the analysts, Howie did speak, obviously, after about drafting a cornerback, which wasn't necessarily a position of need. And Howie, his draft history will tell you he doesn't draft based off position of need. It's the philosophy of the trenches. Sometimes it's best player available. Here's Howie's response to that, especially because it's a cornerback, which the Eagles haven't drafted in the first round since 2002.
Well, I think you hit it. We didn't feel like we had to take a corner in the first round, but it was the highest ranked player on our board at a position that we'd like to kind of get some younger players here. We got some younger players last year. We like those younger players. We wanted to add some competition at the corner position, and so we felt like based on those factors. But I think the most important thing was that we didn't jump the board. This guy was standing out on our board. He was the highest ranked guy, and it just seemed like a pretty easy pick. Though again, the only reason that it was a hard pick was because there were still a bunch of good players there that we liked that we would have been happy to select.
It really is amazing. Like you keep on talking about, John, you would have gotten itchy and you would have traded up.
No, I would have. There's no question that would have been. That's where I'm at.
And I'm sure he was probably to fall the way that it did. He had the Eagles drafting J.C. Latham at 16. He went up to 7. It just changes everything. One move in the NFL draft can change the entire board. Once a wide receiver's picked, it's the run on wide receivers, all that. We saw that when the Eagles selected Devontae Smith. Sure. There was the run on receivers. It just worked out perfectly for the Eagles if they were definitely looking at cornerback in the first round, and clearly they did with the selection of Quinyon Mitchell. So yesterday, there's multiple networks on. NFL Network's doing their thing. ESPN's doing their thing. They're also on ABC. Kevin Nagandi, who joins us every Thursday, he hosted the show on ABC. And on the ABC broadcast was Nick Saban, who did a tremendous job, by the way, last night.
Saban's going to be a star.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He's no longer the coach at Alabama. He's going to start doing some media stuff, and he was awesome last night. And here he is talking about the Eagles selection of Quinyon Mitchell. Now, listen closely to this because Nick Saban was still a head coach when Mitchell was still playing college football. And hear what he had to say about him.
Well, you know, he was our number one guy in the portal last year to try to get to come out of the portal.
Yeah.
And he didn't never get in the portal, so it was...
Right.
But, you know, this guy is a really good player. He's got everything. He tackles decently. He can play man-to-man. He plays the ball in the deep part of the field. I wasn't sold on this guy because the have great speed. It's not a speed league, so I was worried about level of confidence. But at the Senior Bowl, this guy guarded him better than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did.
That's where his stock went to.
And I think that's where his stock went up. And, I think they're getting a really good player.
Nick Saban wanted him via the portal, man.
And what does that tell you about Kool-Aid? And also about Arnold.
See, I don't like that you're taking shots at my boy Kool-Aid because of this.
No, but it tells it right there is that he thought he needed something better.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Speaking of Kool-Aid, we'll talk about this more in the next segment. 2 players that a lot of people had going in the first round, not drafted in the first round. The fall for Cooper DeJean, like, at one point, I told you Wednesday night I saw a tweet from a draft analyst, right? One of the big names, I just forget who, hearing that Cooper DeJean might go higher than people expect, might go in the mid-teens. And he doesn't even make it in the first round.
Unreal.
It's unreal how this draft works. Let's play one more, and then I want to play some from Joel Embiid. Let's play Bill Belichick, all right? The GOAT, head coach.
It's good competition. They played some good schools. They played. This is a big physical kid that'll help also play on special teams. So he'll help him on all 4 downs. But really, as a perimeter guy, he's got good skills, and I'm sure they'll develop him and just be a better man-to-man player. He hasn't played probably enough man-to-man against high-level competition yet, but he'll get there.
If one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time,
he's the greatest,
and a defensive-minded coach likes Quinyon Mitchell, that excites me a little bit, John.
You're all in, yeah.
It excites me a little bit.
Well, also, too, is that he knows it. He studied it. He closely. I just love the things that that all of the analysts had to say about him.
It was, man, it's a celebration today.
It
That's
really
what
is.
we've been doing
and
all
we've been
day
waiting,
today.
And we've been waiting for it.
Yes, we absolutely have been. All right, I want to play something from Joel Embiid for you that I loved hearing. And it means something when he says it, because I think a lot of fans talk about this.
Okay.
About the stars that Embiid, or the supposed stars that Embiid has been supposed to play with, Ben Simmons, James Harden. Take a listen to what he said about Tyrese Maxey after the game last night, and it's what he says toward the end that I loved hearing most.
He's going to have to keep stepping up and, take on those challenges. But every single year, we're dealt with so much drama. And then it's the constant that just keep coming up. Like, finally, we have this one guy, just a good basketball player, obviously, but great human being. And, through what we went through, and you finally found that guy, he's great, and he's amazing.
I love that. We finally have a franchise guy that people are happy to be around, and there's no that we've been through. Look, I know Embiid is not blameless, right? Like, he deserves blame for some of the things that have happened in previous playoff appearances for the Sixers. But, dude, he lived through the Ben Simmons issues.
Yes, he did.
The James Harden saga. And now you have Tyrese Maxey, where there's no denying he is a bundle of joy. And, oh, by the way, is extremely talented.
He is. And last night, again, it was weird. They win the game where Maxey plays his statistically worst game.
But I will say.
And Brunson plays his statistically best game.
But I will say this, and I'm not saying this for the radio take. I was most impressed last night out of Maxey than the 2 other games. No. OG was locked on Maxey pretty much all game. Whereas the first 2 games, sometimes it was Brunson, who we know is not the best defensive player. There were times where Maxey was having open looks. Maxey had to work for all 25 points he scored last night. And that is a moment where you see this kid mature. This kid might be taking another step forward in his career. defense in the playoffs is a lot different than defense in the regular season. It's great that he can score 40 in the regular season. It's great that he was able to score 30-plus in the first 2 games of this series. OG Anunoby is a tremendous defensive player.
And the respect it shows that they had so much of a plan to try to stop Maxey.
Yep, and he goes out there and scores 25 and worked for all 25 points. I was more impressed with Tyrese Maxey last night. That's not me taking anything away from games 1 and 2, but I was more impressed with last night than the first 2 games.
Wow.
Because of what he had to go up against.
Okay.
It was harder. It absolutely, I mean, look, it's hard to score against a guy that's actually playing defense against you. I don't think that's a hot take. All right, coming your way next, we preview day 2 of the NFL draft and also game 4, Sixers-Knicks, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Amazing, amazing time. And we'll announce our 4 winners of the final day of our Avello Airlines contest. That comes your way next on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. On Kincade and Salciunas on this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday with just so much still to be excited about. That's the cool thing about today, John. Like, I'm so excited today because of what transpired yesterday. But today's also a day of excitement because of what can happen tonight, what can happen tomorrow with the Eagles in the NFL draft, and then Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have Sixers-Knicks, man.
It's going to be so
4.
much fun.
You win that game. You even the series at 2 apiece. You go back to Madison Square Garden, to which you pointed out, you know that you can win those games.
You could have, what does Bob say?
Could have
won game 2, could have won game 1.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's no intimidation factor of saying, we already know there's a game 5 on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, by the way.
Yep.
7 o'clock Tuesday night. You'll hear it here on The Fanatic. There's no intimidation factor.
No, none
And that's
whatsoever.
not trying to be chesty. It's, you play well there.
You know, you know.
You can play well
and look,
there.
you know that you should have won game 2 had the officiating gone the way. Now, look, again, there were other circumstances that led to that loss.
Absolutely.
But the final 30 seconds, you make a case, was the biggest reason why they ended up losing that. All right, so today, 2 of the NFL draft. And again, later this segment, we're going to announce our 4 winners of the Avello Airlines contest. You have 2 players that you talked about earlier, but I want you to dive in a little bit more. 2 players that are on your radar. Now, you think they could go in the 40s.
Yes, they're going to. I think both of them will be gone before 50.
So you're going to have to trade up.
Yes. So it would be, these are the best. To me, they're the best. And we heard it from Andrew Tcheco, too.
Yeah, he agreed.
Best linebackers available. Now, him and I have a little difference of opinion.
Okay.
But as far as take Andrew's word for it over mine.
Okay.
Take his, because I guarantee you he has studied 10 times the amount that I have on it. I love Edgerrin Cooper. Love Edgerrin Cooper.
You're going LOVE.
Out of Texas A&M. Love him. Love him. Love him. Junior Colson is out of Michigan. And Bob Cooney always said, it's funny, is watching, we would talk about college football.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob would say he loves watching the Michigan defense. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I love the Michigan defense to me looked like an NFL defense. Junior Colson is a tremendous, tremendous player. And more importantly, he is a high IQ player. That is, Colson is the guy that I believe Andrew would tell you is that he believes is the best. I love Edgerrin Cooper. The athleticism is wild and off the charts. And he also, too, coverage, fantastic linebacker in coverage.
So
if you can find your way to either one of them now, they may be. I don't think either one of them will be available at 50. But after last night, who the hell knows?
Yeah, who knows, man?
I mean, right now, but I would absolutely consider this. Here's one for you. And I see a couple of the NFL Network people talking about the fact is you may see people making some trades before the second round begins, maneuvering for the Eagles saying at 53, Howie making a deal before everything begins tonight to move back with that pick, to pick up a little more, maybe pick up a third-round pick or pick up a fourth-round pick or whatever, and then use that with the 50th to go up and get one of these guys. Because I'm believing.
Now, is that 53 move back still in the second round that they're saying?
That 53 could move back. I'm just saying is that there are going to be teams that'll do it. So what I'm saying is 53, you may have to move into the beginning of the third round. I would absolutely do it if it gave me some additional, like an extra pick and like that I could then use to flip to move 50 if I have to move up to 46 to get the guy I want.
I think,
but they may just let it fall to them.
Right.
But the Jeremiah Trotter stuff, he said at third. Wouldn't be shocked if Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is not off the board. Not off the board when we end festivities tonight. Best player
round.
on the board. Yeah. Like tomorrow morning, you wake up and you see
the scroll. Mel's top available.
I wouldn't be shocked. There's no way I would use one of the top two picks tonight.
We did yesterday. Again, side. Yesterday, I asked the question, what did you want the Eagles exactly to do in the first round of the draft? And I also asked what exactly you didn't do. I said what I wanted them to do was to draft a defensive lineman that couldn't and sit for a year or two like they did here, and he only played right guard because Sayamala was no longer on the team. So I'll ask you guys, Connor, you have to change your answer because I don't think they're going to get Kool-Aid.
You never know, baby.
No, they're not doing it.
Come on. What?
Not now.
Names aside, what is it that you want to see the Eagles to do today? Is linebacker a must pick at some point today for you, John Kincade?
It's a must for me. It's not going to be a must for him.
For Howie?
It's not going to be for Howie.
Okay.
But I absolutely would think I think it's a must that you get a linebacker in the first 2 days. I don't think Howie's going to look at it that way.
I think they have to draft an edge rusher.
You feel also, too, that they have to draft a offensive. Because then those are your two value picks. So if you feel that way about edge rusher and you know how Howie loves the offensive lineman, then that pretty much is going to keep linebacker off the page.
It might. It might because that goes – look, yesterday what they did was uncharacteristic of the Eagles.
It was.
Drafting a cornerback, period. It's been since 2002 when they drafted Lito Shepherd in the first round. It's uncharacteristic for the Eagles to do that. I would not be surprised if Howie Roseman goes back to his typical philosophy of trenches. I wouldn't be shocked if they drafted both offensive line and edge rusher. If they kept picks 50 and 53, we're not getting to trade here, trade there. We're not doing the mock draft stuff. If they have those two picks, I think they have to draft an edge rusher. They do. They need a rotational piece. You can't just totally rely on Nolan Smith and
No, you
Bryce
can't.
Huff, right?
You can,
And
because
Josh Sweat.
Because of the fact that you didn't give Nolan Smith enough opportunity last year, which was dumb. Which was just dumb.
I think a rotational guy defensively, edge rusher, is a must at some point today. But you bring up the offensive line thing. I wouldn't. They're probably going to draft a lineman.
Do you believe a player will be acquired by trade this weekend? A veteran off someone else's
I don't
roster?
either. You said it earlier.
You don't. So you really don't believe that
Because I
at
think
all.
that would have been a yesterday move.
Well, the thing is, for Howie, it's usually not. It's usually a third-day move. Howie tends to do that more a third-day move.
Well, no.
Saturdays is when he makes those kind of trades.
Or you see it early next week. Because when DeAndre Swift, they didn't trade for him until
Saturday morning.
Was it? Okay, because the first round
Saturday
they draft
morning.
Jahmyr Gibbs, and then you realize
Now they have 3 fifth-round picks, 3 fifth-round picks, and a 6th-round pick.
So that's a possibility.
So, I mean, I could easily see that, or I could easily see tonight one of the 5th-round picks being used to move up 3 spots in the 2nd round. By the way, you want to move up 3 spots in the 2nd round. 3. We have 161, 171, 172. So there it is right there. You've got that. 161 could easily move you up 3-4 spots. Easily.
Okay.
With a 5th-round pick.
All right, Connor, what exactly do you want to see the Eagles do today?
Yeah, there's a couple positions that I really need him to address. One of them is line. I need to get an interior offensive lineman. Like, I don't need it to be Lane Johnson's successor because I want that to be somebody who is a top-level player. And I don't know if that guy exists.
I got you. That's good.
But you need to do something that you can protect that guard spot. I want him to get a pass catcher. I don't know if it's going to be tight end. I don't know if it's going to be another wide receiver. But I do want them to get another weapon on offense to ideally be that Dallas Goedert replacement at some point in the future. I think that's good. And then either linebacker or edge. So those are the 4 position groupings. I want them to do at least 2 of those 3 things.
Do you guys feel good enough about linebacker? Because I'm just. It seems, but the thing is, though, it seems like people are even feedback I'm seeing on social media and everything. People are being. I think people are being a little cavalier about. They went and just with high draft capital on a position. We all complain about linebackers so much. There are guys right there in their wheelhouse that they could grab.
Oh, if they can get one of those guys, that'd be great. But you think they would have to trade up for him? We'll see if they end up doing that. I mean, look, there's.
But would you tell Howie that? Howie's sitting down for you. You have 5 minutes to have coffee with him. Are you saying that to him going into tonight?
Yes, trade up.
I ain't telling anything to Howie. I think they're in the Phillies zone. We did this all offseason with the Phillies where it was like, they need this, they need that, they need this. And they just ran it back with a team that was probably good enough. I think what the Eagles have done this offseason, they don't have to be aggressive. They don't have to make trades. They don't have to make magic happen. They just have to kind of hang out and make smart decisions with the assets they have. And this team's good enough. There are going to be weak spots.
Yeah, there will be.
This team's good enough.
All right, real quick, I want to announce our 4 Avello winners.
This is fantastic.
Because next segment, we're very busy with the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3-hour crossover with Bob Cooney. And we still need to talk a little bit about Sixers-Knicks Game 4 because I think it's going to be a nasty one. I think there's a lot of pent-up frustration and energy.
Somebody hit somebody.
I think it's going to get ugly. I think it's going to get really ugly.
You really do?
Yeah, I thought it started to get ugly last night. I think it's going to get really ugly Game 4. I think they hate each other.
They do already.
I think they hate each other, so I think it's going to get ugly. All right, our 4 winners, our final 4 winners for the Avello Airlines contest that we've been running for the trip for 2. We have Joanne Marth Scholl or Skull, not sure exactly how you pronounce the last name. Joanne Marth Scholl. That's winner number 1. Nancy Tomlinson, winner number 2. Victoria Marotta, was it?
Murata.
My apologies.
It looks like Murata to me. I know Muratas.
I have chicken scratch on here, so I don't even know what I wrote. Victoria Murata, winner number 3. And Susan Beckman, winner number 4. So congratulations to Joanne, Nancy, Victoria, and Susan. You were all nominated because of the wonderful things that you do in our community and also probably, we read some of these stories, the hardships that you've been going through. You deserve vacation, and you deserve vacation on Avello Airlines.
Do you notice something about our winners, though?
What?
How overwhelmingly female they were? that the men who listen to this station, most of them nominated by men for nominating moms, coworkers, teachers. It's amazing.
I know.
It really
I
is
know
great.
my household without Chris, but I don't have a house. It's burnt.
You wouldn't have known to wear pants this morning if it wasn't for. I'm just really impressed. I love it. Thanks, Avello, and I love the fact that our listeners are very, very aware of the people who support their families, support their school children, support their communities. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So we'll contact the winners. We have to contact the people that nominated the winners because that's the information that we have. But Joanne, Nancy, Susan, and Victoria, congratulations.
Awesome.
Keep fighting for those of you that are fighting. Keep doing you for those that are doing you. But enjoy vacation. Sit back and just freaking have a drink at the airport. All right, at Wilmington Airport. Thanks to our friends at Avello Airlines. Key 3, Kincade and Salciunas, 3 best minutes from the show. Coming your way next, an hour crossover with Bob Cooney right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Wide receiver,
Perfect.
7 on Kincade and Salciunas.
Where did the time go today?
I don't know, man. It flew by.
A joyous Friday.
A lot of fun today. I had a blast. It's been another
fun.
It's been another fast week, by the way, because it's a Fanatic Friday. I can't believe it. But it's time now for the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3.
Now, the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
An unbelievable day to be a Philadelphia sports fan Friday. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, good morning.
It was a spectacular Thursday that led to this Friday morning. Little did we know what was coming.
Oh, my God.
Of excitement and energy and positivity that we damn well needed.
They draft the cornerback Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo, the guy that I wanted. I wanted Quinyon Mitchell. I expected the Eagles to go offensive lineman. I was talking about Tyler Guyton, the guy out of Oklahoma. He ends up going to Dallas. So I wanted Quinyon Mitchell. And Quinyon Mitchell comes to Philadelphia at 22. They didn't have to trade up to 12, 16, 19, the three different spots that we heard most about potential trade-up spots. They stayed at 22 and got their guy.
I think Howie Roseman listened to the show the other day.
Yes.
And he saw where if you trade up before draft day, never, and I mean never, going to invite Howie Roseman to a poker night. He's never invited.
Oh, yeah, because he's going to fleece.
Because he played that perfectly.
He just drops a ho-hum 50 spot in an NBA playoff game, and he's hitting threes. For the people that complain that he's on the perimeter too much, 6 of 8. I tweeted this out last night. I watched a 7-foot center take a heat check 3 and make it. That doesn't happen.
He was unconscious with that. He just got into a beautiful rhythm with that, which is great. But it was also a big change for Joel Embiid. Because now, I think for the first time truly in his career, in a playoff situation, he is a flat-out villain.
Yeah.
And how he wears that black hat is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
He'll play into it.
He'll play into it because that really was. I think it was a payback. The referee's not kicking him out last night. Don't sell your tickets on Sunday, Mark.
Yeah,
Seriously.
come on, Mark. Are you going Sunday?
I'll probably wind up in the press box again.
Oh, geez, that's awful. That's awful. Get out of here. That's awful. I'm going to be where I can be, but I'm still going to make my big profit. Stop it, Mark. That's terrible.
He allowed 8 Knicks fans into the...
Any better for the Philadelphia Eagles, who came away with the top corner, at least on my board and the board of many, in the draft. You have that's a home run.
He backed up what he said after game 2.
He did.
When they lost game 2, he says, we're going to win this series. We are the better team. And you know what? He could have gone out there last night. They could have won the game, and he could have scored 20 or 30. No, he scored 50.
How about campaign with those 2 threes was so huge in that just one sequence.
I'm glad that A.J. Brown got paid. I'm glad that this narrative is freaking over, that A.J. Brown doesn't want to be here, or that we should trade A.J. Brown for cornerbacks.
Wait a minute.
No,
Wait a
stop
minute.
that.
Whole question. Would you trade A.J. Brown? Oh, no, we don't do that crap.
It's ridiculous.
We don't do that.
He is part of the reason why this offense is as dynamic as it is. There's no excuses for Jalen Hurts next year, which is a good thing, right? He has A.J. Brown to work with, Devontae Smith to work with, Saquon Barkley, the offensive line in front of him. It's amazing, man. And stop with this narrative of A.J. Brown's got to go, or I don't like his attitude. All right, I'm sorry the guy's a little bit more fiery than most. I feel like in Philadelphia, don't we like when people wear their heart on their sleeves? Don't we like that?
They never let on how much they were really going to go corner.
No, he never did. They never did, and they end up going corner. It's the first time that he has ever drafted a corner in the first round. It's been the first corner in the first round selected by the Eagles since Lito Shepard.
That's wonderful.
In 2002, so it's been 22
and
years.
We all begged for it.
We all did.
And it's one of those things where rarely at a draft do we get what the fans beg for, the media begged for. We got it last night, and so no revisionist history will ever be allowed on this pick.
We sure got it last night. A lot of fun, incredible day. That was the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3, the 3 best minutes from today's show. But my 5 favorite minutes, don't take offense to that, John.
What's
Hi,
up,
Bobby.
boys?
Who's here? Bobby, what's going on?
How are we? Everything good?
Everything's great.
Good sports night?
Dude.
Pretty good?
Today is just an absolute celebration, man.
Yeah, it is. It down at the Sixers game last night, that was wild. And while it worked out perfectly. While we were watching the game, we get done the game, we go back for post game, and it was perfect timing because the Eagles were just about to pick.
Right.
So we got to watch that, and how that played out, crazy. First 14 picks, all offense, 6 quarterbacks in the first what?
Yeah, and one of them
I love
You
watching
do.
that kid play. Oh, my God, I love watching.
No, I just can't. I can't with the injury history. I can't with. There's a lot. But Bob's right. Highly entertaining.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Terry Fontenot.
That said, I'm paraphrasing now because I don't have it in front of me. He said, when you have your favorite player,
yeah,
that would be perfect.
Is Embiid the villain now? Because of what New York they are now.
He was a punk for the first part of the game.
Yeah.
And I don't say that like, I personally, I would have thrown him out if he would have had somebody grab somebody's legs when they're trying to jump and that's horrible. He was this close to losing it. And if the Knicks were smarter, they would have kept pushing, but they didn't. They kind of backed like, all right, let's not get crazy here. Nah, I would have sent in like my 12th player and said, go out there and make him throw a punch at you.
He's
Get him
lucky.
out of the game.
He's lucky game 2 happened.
Because
Yes,
I think that's why
maybe.
he didn't get thrown out last night.
Could be, yeah. But that was, man, tough beginning to that game for the referees, huh?
Yeah.
You get 3 review calls. I texted
like
somebody in the
5
league,
minutes.
and I'm like, this ain't good. And he said, yeah, this is horrible.
See,
So
this is why Bob's good, though. Because Bob's one of the biggest Sixers fans out there. But he still is willing to, like, flat out just admit that was wrong.
Yeah.
Got away with one last night.
Absolutely.
We got away with it last
Dude, how about Embiid doing heat check threes, man?
Gosh.
is there a quiet 50 points that can be scored in a game? I turned to Bill Colarulo, who's going to be joining me all day today. I turned to him in the middle of the game. I think he was at like 43, and I go, I've never seen this quiet of a 43.
I said ho-hum. Ho-hum 50 points.
Yeah. And now he's got the Bell's palsy? My God, this poor guy.
Seriously.
Did you hear the clip post game? We played it a couple of times
Yes,
where he said, I start questioning why. Like, it's
Yeah.
like the
You feel
human
bad.
side of him's coming out.
Yeah.
Now, this is coming off of scoring 50 points, and he's like, sometimes I just ask why.
Unbelievable. Bell's palsy. Seriously?
Yeah.
Poor guy.
One
All right, what do
more
you got
thing.
coming up, Bob?
Great day today. It's just all talk. Sixers, Eagles, anything we want to go. Phillies looking good. Their starting pitching is phenomenal. But, yeah, Sixers and Eagles most today.
All righty.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Check out my man, Pump Man Philly. They make donations to the American Association for Cancer Research, and you can do it today, too, at 975thefanatic.com/AACR, because cancer research saves lives. That was a lot of fun today.
That was a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Do it again
on
Monday?
Monday, hopefully after another Sixers win, because that would make it more fun. Sixers win.
Phillies win a series.
And then reaction to the draft.
Oh, this sounds good.
Yeah, Monday's going to be a lot of fun, but it continues next. Bob Cooney, Bill Colarulo, midday show. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Great job, Johnny, Connor, Haley, and B. Gunn. Thank you, as always, everybody who listened and texted in and called in and tweeted in.